And that brings us back to the cost of living, which is central to this campaign. I am live from the glorious Bondi here today. This is in the middle of the seat of Wentworth. Wentworth was one of the seats that used to be Liberal Party heartland, and the Teals swept in last election in 2022. Allegra Spender has been the Teal member for the last 3 years. Let me tell you a little bit about this seat. Yes, it is the home of Mr Harbourside Mansion, Malcolm Turnbull himself and his neighbours. This is both a wealthy seat, but it is a seat where a lot of its constituents also drive the wealth of this nation. But don't be fooled by that, because this is a seat that has a big cost of living element to it. 51% renters in this seat. They're worried about housing, they're worried about energy, they are worried about health. So that cost of living trifecta. When it comes down to it, voters are going to be having a very close look at Allegra Spender and saying, well, did she live up to what she promised 3 years ago? Remember, 3 years ago, it was very much a climate change election. It's not this time around. Yes, people are still worried about the environment, but is climate change number one? No, it's no longer a first order issue in the middle of a cost of living crisis. I want to bring you some exclusive internal polling that we're able to bring you on AM Agenda this morning that just shows you, despite the margin of 9%, how close this contest will be. So this is from internally within the Liberals. It shows that over the last 8 months, extensive campaigning by Liberal candidate Ro Knox has paid off. It's increasing her support into double digits. She's pretty competitive now going into the election. And some of the numbers here, this internal track polling shows that the favourability rating since July of last year is now well ahead of Spender. Allegra Spender is plus 14. Ro Knox is plus 24. Peter Dutton and the Liberal Party are seen more favourably than Anthony Albanese. Financial, economic, security issues dominate. This is all according to the internal polling. In terms of the Teal brand is now at minus 10 here in Wentworth. And the Liberal Party is plus 13 in Wentworth. As you know, we speak to Simon Welsh from Redbridge Group, who not only looks at numbers like this every day, he looks at the focus groups and what they're telling him about the Teals. And a lot of what he's been hearing the focus groups certainly back these numbers up.
The core of that Teal vote being that highly educated, high income, progressive middle voter, they're not really moving. And I don't think anyone would really expect them to. That values disconnect around Peter Dutton is an inherent barrier there. The really interesting bit, though, and the bit that I suspect will be decisive, is the demographic change in these seats. So the younger voters coming in, where you're getting density in housing in these electorates is really the story here, because that is bringing in younger, yes, university educated, yes, relatively high income earners, but moving into apartments and flats and these sorts of things. The change in the voter roll since 2022 is a story of thousands of these younger voters coming in. And there's a couple of things around that's problematic. First of all, they lean progressive, so we know that's problematic for the Liberals to begin with. But they are the beating heart of this dissatisfaction with either major party.
So there you have it. Of course, Wentworth isn't the only Teal seat. If you want a comparison around the country, the seat of Wentworth is a little bit like Kooyong or Goldstein, just out of Melbourne. Both of those seats held by the Teals. Or if you're in Brisbane, Wentworth is a little bit like the seat of Ryan when it comes to demographics. And of course, that at the moment used to be a Liberal stronghold. It's held by the Greens there in Brisbane.